Therapy is a safe space
for us both to grow.
There's nothing that empowers me more with our community than just being who I am.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Welcome back.
Yes. So you guys probably saw our introduction video, and it was intentional because we didn't tell you guys the name of our podcast. So we're going to tell you the name of our podcast now and maybe talk a little bit about how we arrived to that name. So the name of our podcast is Natural Ease, EAYCE, Natural Ease. And you can flip that any kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, we're African American, we're all natural, or we could just say natural, like we're not overcomplicating this.
Yep.
We're not overcomplicating life. However you want to flip it. But the name of our podcast is Natural Ease.
Yeah.
And Shara, tell them a little bit about how we arrived to that name.
So brainstorming together, we knew that we wanted something that fit our personalities and also our look.
Right.
And we went through a couple different things. We knew we wanted ease to be in the name because for the three of us, that's kind of been a theme for our lives, particularly in this year, like ease and flow.
Yeah.
Like if it's not saying that we're against work, but even when we're doing something that takes work, there's an ease to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to cause anxiety. Like it doesn't have to create more trauma.
Yeah.
And then we were just like flirting around with different words, and then I think it was Kiema was like natural, and we were like ease, and they were like, should we do ease the regular way or should we have it like and when we wrote it out on a mirror, actually the different names, so we literally wrote in my living room and on
Incense
one of my mirrors,
and all of that, all of that.
Zen.
Yep.
And when we looked at it and we all said it, we were like, that's the one. And I think we had about 6 different names, and then from process of elimination we would go like, Trina, which one is out of all 6 of these you feel like is definitely not given, and we crossed it out, and then Kiema, and then me, and this is how we ended up with the name.
Awesome. Anything you remember about that process you wanted to?
I remember the music and the bird.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about that.
Listen, I was like, why is this, where is this bird? Is it in the house or out the house? Because we need to figure this out first before we start talking.
Yeah, that part wasn't easy. You gotta give them context. Like, what bird are you talking about?
So like, when Shara kind of made a mood, right? So she had like the incense burning. She was like, I was like laying on her little chair thing, and she was like, I'm putting it over you, so positive energy. And I was like, okay, whatever. Then she put on like meditative stuff on the TV. So I hear the meditative music, but then I hear this bird chirping. Don't laugh at me, y'all. I hear this bird chirping, and I'm like, where is this bird? Like, what is going on? Now, it literally sounded like the bird was like right next to me. So it didn't sound like it was on the TV or anything like that. It sounded like, yo, this bird in this house. Like, what's going on? So I was like, she had opened up the patio door, and I was like, Shara, is that bird in the patio?
And where was the bird friend?
On the TV.
Yeah.
Inside of the music for the meditation.
Listen to the little tweet. No, tell Tweety Bird, no, we ain't like that. No.
Listen, y'all, that bird had Kiema in a chokehold the entire playing session.
And did.
I'm surprised the bird name ain't inside of the podcast.
Right?
The chirp.
After a while, we became friends, so let's just chill.
Yeah. Okay, well, we love it. All right, so that's how we got to our name, and we do have a little slogan, ease and flow. So if you ever hear us say that, you know what, there's no structured way to throw it in there. When we feel it, we say it.
Yeah.
So if somebody says something that's really bomb ass, you're like, ooh, ease and flow. Or if it's getting a little heated in here, and be like, all right, sis, like, do we got to pull out the pen and paper because it sounds like we about to go into a therapeutic process? Like, ease and flow. You know, however you want to use it, however we want to use it, y'all can say it, we can say it, it doesn't matter. But ease and flow is our slogan. So if you hear us throw that out there, you know what to do. Take a deep breath, woosah, or just take it in.
Amen.
Love it.
All right, so the name of this episode is It Could All Be So Simple. And I know y'all know that song.
Right.
Who is by? Tell her who.
Good old Lauren. Auntie Lauren. Dr. Lauren. The Hill. Okay.
But it's a powerful statement.
Yes, it is.
Very powerful. We sing it to the top of our lungs, snapping our fingers and rolling our hands in the air. But we rarely live a simple life. Why? Really? Because we're complicated beings, right? So the name of this episode is It Can All Be So Simple. Right. And Laura said, but you rather make it hard. So we're going to make it easy and really simplify this first episode by telling you all, what is therapy? Like, what is that? People throw the name out there. Everyone has their own idea, whether it's from what they saw on TV, what their family told them, what the church say, what school says. You know, there's so many different ideas of what therapy is and what it looks like. So let's tell them a little bit about what it's about.
Okay. I think the first thing is there's different, we call it modalities. So there's different types of therapy when it comes to mental health or counseling. So you have traditional talk therapy where you're literally speaking to a licensed or pre-licensed professional that is helping you through some type of chief complaint or concern, whether it's psychological, I'm struggling with feelings of sadness, overwhelm, I'm struggling with abusing a drug of some sort, or it could be a psychosocial issue, like I'm having difficulties in my relationships, I'm not able to perform the way that I used to at work or whatever. There's like a complaint. There's an issue. And some people have progressed and they just kind of do it from like almost like a self-care standpoint, like we're just checking in because I have struggled with my mental health before, and I know that having a safe space to talk through things where I feel comfortable is important. So I think those are some of the basics that I like to share when he talks about therapy. It's literally we just talking, right? It could be virtually. You're in the comfort of your home or your car or whatever the case is, or you can be in a traditional office space.
And there's also like niche centered therapy, right? So if you're coming to therapy specifically for trauma work and everything else, like I said in the first episode, I'm EMDR trained. So you would literally come into the first session with us, biopsychosocial, getting more depth, figuring out those core beliefs associated with it, trauma mapping and all those different things. And that is pretty much where it's just reprocessing therapy. Like you say your core belief, you say the trauma associated with it, you have a number rating. We go a couple rounds to desensitize and try to get it as close to 0 as possible, or 1 or 0. That's the aim overall. And to also reestablish and reintegrate new beliefs for you. So if your core belief is I'm not good enough, the new belief is going to be I am good enough. And all it does is that when we go through, like we usually have tappers. Some people use buzzers, some people use lasers, tappers. My new thing I do is I give clients headphones like these and I control it from my phone so they hear sounds and they can close their eyes because it'll be a better visual for them and it's less distraction. So I do that as well. And as they process whatever memory they have, I'll tell them like, let's go with that. They'll tell me something quick, really, let's go with that until we're at the end and we process at the end. So we do the talk therapy component at the end to give them more clarity, but it's just really rapid in going through the process where I'm simply just a facilitator in that type of therapy.
Awesome. Yeah, and going back to the episode topic, it can all be so simple because, you know, they gave y'all the textbook definition and all that, but therapy is a safe space to be yourself. We're not shrinks. We're not trying to put labels and, you know, the only reason why we diagnose is, you know, for insurance purposes and of course to have direction. Diagnosis can be instructional, right? But other than that, you know, therapy isn't a place to put all these titles on you to tell you that you're sick, but it's a place to get well. And I know that a lot of my clients come in on their first session. Like I love first sessions because I'm one of those people that I want to debunk every little idea that you might have that's scary or frightening. I really love to just be in there, relax, come in there with a baseball cap, whatever I need to do.
Build rapport.
But yeah, build rapport, be human, be normal, be relatable. So Therapy is definitely a space, just a safe space. If you don't remember anything else from this episode, it's a safe space to be you, to talk. I allow my clients to curse, to put their foot up in the couch or both of their feet, whatever they need to do to feel comfortable. Some of my clients lay out on the couch, you know. So it's not this place where you have to be stoic and prestige and uptight. You're
perfect.
And perfect, right. You could just be you. So it's a place to be you. Did you guys want to?
Yeah, and I love that we empower people to be themselves. A lot of the common things I get when people are trying to get consults with me to even have me be their therapist, I don't know if you guys get this as well, is more so like, how long is it going to take to fix me? Girl, when was you broken? Like, we're not broken, and we're not broken individuals. Like, you can be who you are. You just need to understand who you are. That's the problem. We don't understand us. So then when everyone else tells us that something's wrong with us, we feel like we're broken. But it's like, no, you don't have to be that cookie cutter person and fit in this bracket. You can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, for sure. I think therapy is powerful, and I know in our first session we talked a little bit about who we are, and we all disclosed that we've gone to therapy or are in therapy at this time. And I try to think about like when I first went to my first session and some of the anxieties that I felt, and like it really could just be simple. Like the hardest part of therapy is finding somebody that you feel like you can connect with. Right. That's literally the hardest part. Yes. Once you find that person, it is just ease and flow.
Yep.
Like as long as you just allow yourself to be open to the process. And I think also too, like therapy is a place where you learn about yourself. Like, right? Like thoughts that beliefs, core beliefs that you thought you had, you realize, no, I don't really feel that way. I've never been asked this question. I don't think that's a religious belief that I have anymore, whatever the case is. So it's like, it's self-discovery. It's the safest place that you can be.
Yeah.
Like literally.
And it takes about like, sometimes it can take like a good 2-3 rounds before you find the perfect therapist. So it's like not settling, not because you meet me and you don't like me means that therapy doesn't work and everything else. Because a lot of people have that negative connotation. Like, oh, I went to one therapist and it didn't work. Cool. You know, there's like a billion other ones, a billion. Like, and you can, if your problems have to do with your race and connection and everything else, and you want a black therapist, find a black therapist. If you want a white therapist, find a white therapist. My therapist is white. I love my little white lady. Y'all can't tell me anything. You know, so it's finding who works with you and who makes you feel safe. That's the thing. If I can't make you feel safe, you shouldn't be working with me. And also, if you don't make me feel safe, if I feel triggered by you, I shouldn't be working with you. Like, I'm quick to say that.
That's a great point. And that leads into what I was going to say, because I don't know if any clinicians will admit this, maybe not on camera, but I'm here to say it today. Shara mentioned that therapy is a place where you learn about yourself, right? And I also feel like therapy is a place that, as a therapist, where I learn about me from working with y'all. You know, listen, I mean, you know, there's transference, counter-transference. You know, we can go into all those textbook terms, but wholeheartedly, like, as a therapist or as a clinician, sitting there in being engaged with your client and sometimes experiencing some of the things that they're experiencing, you see yourself. It's so easy to see yourself, and it's so easy to help yourself as you're helping them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's where it's like, I always tell clients, like, it's a space for us both to grow. I learn about me through you, and you learn about you through me. And it's both a guided way. It's not intentional. It's just building that relationship. So like you said, when they come in, they want to lay on the couch. I have clients that come in at least every 2 weeks and have a breakdown. And every time they be like, I don't know why I'm breaking out like this. Oh, you broke down 2 weeks ago, sis, but it's okay. like it's fine. Like, this is normal. This is a pattern. I noticed the pattern. You don't notice the pattern. That's what I'm here for. To tell you, like, hey, you broke down like 2 weeks ago for that same reason. Why? Now why every 2 weeks you're having this breakdown? Now we got to look at that pattern, right? Now we got to figure out why that pattern is the way it is and what's the trigger to that pattern. And when you know the trigger, your goal is to get through it. The goal in life is to never be triggered.
Come on.
That's annoying. A lot of people be like, well, you're a trigger to me, so I'm not going to be around you. Actually, you just made yourself weak, because now that you told me that I trigger you, I'm going to purposely trigger you every day until you learn how to deal with your triggers. Because why are you letting something have such power over you?
Yeah. Going back to your point about like maybe a lot of clinicians may not say certain things on camera. I think the other thing about therapy, because it's a relationship, it's like an awkward relationship, at least for me as a therapist, because these are people, they're like, we like this. You tell me some of the most I'm with you through some of the most challenging things of your life. And then if I see you in a grocery store, I can't speak.
Yeah.
You got to speak first.
You know what I mean? Or if I'm seeing someone who might be in my age range and I'm out in a social setting, then I have to be mindful of like how I'm presenting because of my relationship with you. So it's so weird. Or if I have to end things, or a lot of clients struggle with like termination, with ending services, and I don't know if they know that we struggle too.
Yeah.
Because it's a relationship.
That's good.
It's like letting go of our babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, thank goodness for my safe spaces too, where I may be able to speak and like, this was really hard.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, yes, I'm a therapist, but I'm a person first.
Yeah.
Person first. Ease
So like,
and flow.
yeah.
Ease and flow.
That's another thing about like therapy. It's not us being the expert and you not being an expert. It's truly this dance and a true relationship,
right?
Where we have to communicate. And we may have to address things that are hard. And I may get emotional sometimes in session.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's okay, because it makes you human.
And sometimes I cry with clients. Like when they're, especially like with the trauma processing, and when they're like, when they hit like that core part, like especially in EMDR of like, I keep doing this to myself or whatever it is, like, and they start breaking down. I'll be like, and I'm supposed to be quiet because, I can't disrupt their process. So I'll be like, you did, but it's okay. You didn't know better. Like,
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you. Like, we were looking for you.
That's good. That's good. And I think, going back to the relationship aspect of it, we talked about this the other day, how our clients, see us as friends sometimes. Like, I've had clients that have invited me to their wedding, to their paint and sips, to their church, or to their mother's funeral.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, having a heart of compassion and spending at least an hour a week with an individual, it's hard to set those boundaries, because I want to show up.
Yes.
Yep.
I knew when you were afraid of love.
Right.
I knew when you were afraid of grief.
Yeah.
I knew when you were afraid of this or afraid of that. And to see you cross that milestone is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not just here to collect a check.
Right.
Correct.
I'm here to get you well. I'm here to say that nobody else might not understand, but for these 50 minutes, you're going to feel understood.
Right.
So that relationship aspect is hard in so many ways, because again, a therapeutic relationship can feel like a friend. And as a therapist, we have to keep these boundaries because it's important. Right?
It's a power dynamic.
Yeah.
Right. So even though it's a relationship, there is still this power dynamic. And I think that's why we, there's all these, to simplify it, we do have like ethical boundaries, right? We're like, you can't have sex with a client.
Yeah.
Even if the person is not a client anymore, you should not be in a sexual or intimate relationship with them at all. Because I know things about you, not because we started dating.
Yes.
I know things about you because I was your therapist.
Right.
And that could be weaponized. So it doesn't take away that simply, it is very hard to still set those boundaries. Like, I want to come and support you. But
can't.
And then I think the other thing too, and I don't know, like this is like a clinical thing, but like being Black and serving my people, I think there's even more of an intimate space to like culturally some things that we do, and some cultures, like even in the subsect of like the diaspora, they don't invite people into their homes and into their families. No. So it's almost like, you know, when an auntie says like, or a grandma's like, I'm gonna cook for you, you say no. It's like a slap in the face.
Right. Yes,
right.
Yes.
So if I'm doing family therapy with a Caribbean family, and then, you know, there's something going on like the death of one of their children, and they invite me, and then I say no, do I lose that? Is that a therapeutic relationship that I've just lost? So we struggle.
Yeah, it's hard.
Struggle.
It's hard. It's literally daily thinking, decision making. Like, did I do the best? Did I hurt this person? Like, did I hurt myself? Like, it's so many different questions. I think all we just have to realize is that when it comes to decision making, we're making the best decision we can with the information we have at the time. You know? So based off of that, that's how we kind of have to like roll with things, and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what therapy is not. You know, we talked about what it is. It's a safe space for you to be yourself and put your feet on my couch and dirty up my carpet and snot on all my tissues and eat all my candy.
That's hilarious.
But we do be eating our candy though, for real.
Like, my client thanked me the other day. He's like, "Thank you for the candy, Miss Trina." I was like, "Yeah, you're welcome."
That's a win. A win is a win.
Right.
What it's not me fixing you. I don't fix. I don't even fix my own stuff. I'm not a fixer at all. So that's one of my answers.
You cannot come to me once a week or even twice a week. Okay, for the yes. You cannot come to me and think that this all your work. That 50 minutes, that 60 minutes you with me, whatever. If you pay for 90 minutes, that 90 minutes that you with me, you can't come to me and think, okay, that's all the work I need to do for the week. Like once I come to therapy, everything will be fine. And I'll talk about all my issues in them 60 minutes and think that you gonna change. It's not. You tried it. Yeah. You're pretty. You're handsome. I'll clap for you, but it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna work. You in the clap. Okay. Recorder.
First of all, that's hilarious. Yeah.
But you can't come to me and 90% of the work in therapy happens outside of therapy. So if I give you a book to read and you don't read that book, that's on you. That's on you. If I give you coping skills, you don't use it, that's on you. I give clients the first session a list of 100 coping skills. I don't want you to do all 100 because I ain't even past 10. Okay, so I gotta be real.
Good 3.
But if you calling me talking about something, I'm having an anxiety attack, how do I deal with this? And I know you've been with me for over a year, sis. I done gave you that list of 100 a long time ago.
You're not doing the work.
You ain't doing the work. You using me as your pocket therapist. I am nobody's pocket therapist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great point. It's beyond the couch. Beyond the couch. When you walk out of that door, the work begins.
Absolutely.
You know, and I tell my clients all the time, like, you're here to get tools. I'm here to help you fill up that toolbox. Like, let's bust it wide open where the tools are spilling over. So when life starts lifing, when stuff start happening, you have a toolbox to pull from.
Exactly.
And if we're still in this therapeutic relationship 2 and 3 years down the line, either you like me and you just need Claudia,
which is okay, but we gotta say
maybe my tools, maybe I ain't digging in the box, whatever, y'all can judge.
Yeah.
Or you're not using your tools.
Yeah.
At some point, there should start to be some sense of progress.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about the same thing in year 2, that's an indication that you're not using your toolbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our goal is to get you better.
Exactly. I think just 2 other things I wanted to share about what therapy is not. It's not a place that you come to when you're in crisis.
Right.
It's just not. There's crisis intervention. That's not talk therapy. Because if you're in crisis, we're really not dealing with the triggers and the traumas. Like, we're just trying to get you to calm down and get to some level of place. Ease and flow.
Yeah. Literally.
Right?
Ease and flow into the baseline.
Literally. So it's not where you come when you're in emergency only. And then for those who are in like couples therapy, it's not where you come in and complain or just, throw somebody else under the rug. It truly is a place that you learn how to do the work and then you apply it outside. But you just have to, it's a place of accountability.
Yep. Because I'm not going to pick your side. And that's one thing that my clients learned the hard way. I'm not going to pick your side. I'm going to hear you. I'm going to validate you. I'm also going to give you a different perspective. I always tell my clients, like,
Challenge.
DBT, use your wise mind. Yeah, you super rational and logical and everything else, but you still dumb as hell.
Oh.
You could, and if you're too emotional, you still dumb as hell.
There's different types of therapists. You got one that's calling you dumb as hell. And one might be like
we all do like outrageous stuff. So we gotta be accountable. Real. So yes, you may be super rational. Yes, that is your strength. That is a beautiful strength, but it's also your weakness because we need emotions in order for us to find our balance. It's about being in that gray area. It's always the gray. What does the gray look like to you? It don't gotta look the same for everyone. It's what the gray looks like to you to give you a baseline to really push through and be like, okay, cool. My wise mind say this, like my rational mind say this. Like I always tell them, what's the wise decision? What's the wise decision? I'm constantly bringing them back to that because you can't just make an emotional or a rational decision. You still need emotions to build a building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So I guess we'll kind of like end this conversation with like, what is your role as a therapist? So we talked about what therapy is, what it isn't. And we talked a little bit about like how sometimes it's hard to have this role, right? Because of our passion and wanting to show up. But at the basic level, at the simplest level, what is our role as therapists?
My role is just to facilitate just the process of you thinking, feeling, reprocessing, reteaching yourself, right? Especially when we do inner child work, you're reparenting yourself again. I'm just a facilitator to tell you, that's a little harsh. Come back a little bit. You gotta be a little more harsh.
Gotta love Kiema,
you know, got like
it's that hardcore. Like we see them 10 years of working in substance abuse.
Right, quick, because you gotta be harsh.
You can't cookie cut that.
Yeah, you're going a little like, okay, I can see where you went wrong, but come back a little bit. Let's find the gray. But it's truly just to facilitate your growth, facilitate you seeing why you are the way you are. And I think that's the core thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. I read something somewhere, I think probably on Instagram, where it was like, there's nothing wrong with me at my core. There are behaviors I need to unlearn. There are things I need to deal with. There's things I need to treat and kind of process. But at my core, I'm a great and healthy and healed person. And I just got to get back to my core. And that's my job, to facilitate you coming back to your core and to tell you like, oh yeah, that's unrelenting standards. Yeah, you people pleasing. Oh yeah, you need some boundaries. Like I'm just facilitating to let you know what areas.
She the point guard.
That's it. That's all I need to be.
I like it.
And I'm gonna be Kobe with the shot every time. I'm gonna tell you about yourself. I'm gonna hit Kobe.
Never miss.
So that's our job. That's my job.
Okay. I would say my role is to create a safe space. That's my role.
Okay, well, we got facilitate, safe space, and I guess I'll add with cultivate. I believe my role is to do all of what you all said, and I say cultivate is to bring out what's inside of you. I'm a firm believer that when you picked up that phone to call me, when you sent that email, you knew in that moment that you could be a better version of yourself. So that tells me it's inside of you. So my role is to bring that out, bring out your strengths, use the coping skills. You've made it this far. So
you got something.
You're still here. So let me identify your strengths with you, cultivate them, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let's use what you got. Let's make it simple. Let's make it simple. You're resilient. You've experienced trauma and abuse and you name it.
Yeah.
And you're in my office. That tells me that you're resilient. Let's bank on that. Let's pull that out. Let's use that to help with some of these future things that you may experience or your current reality.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it brings awareness.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that will conclude episode number 1, and we're excited to see you guys again.
Thanks, guys.